I think there is such a thing as outrage marketing, like we talked about, and there are some people that do it. But on the other hand, there's people that are looking for something to be outraged about. So it doesn't matter what you do in terms of your marketing, especially if you have any people involved in the process, visible people. Someone's going to be outraged. Welcome back to another episode of the IC Pixels podcast. This is David.
This is Anthony.
Thanks for tuning in again after our hiatus that keeps happening because we're busy with life and stuff.
This will be our last episode that we're not consistent.
Yeah, I don't know if we might have to edit that part out in the future. So we'll see.
No, we are thinking about doing weekly so that we're holding ourselves accountable so that we can be consistent, because I know that's not, it's not a good look to not be consistent. So
yeah, it's something we've talked about on this podcast but haven't implemented in real life, I guess. So
we just preach it.
Yeah.
Not so much teach it or live it.
Not so much practice it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess this week, I guess we'll just get right to it. What we're talking about, unless something exciting is going on in DC that I should know about.
So Comcast is launching a new channel, I guess, or two new channels for like black people focused content. One is called Afro, one is called Cleo. Cleo is in Cleopatra because it's targeted at black women, I guess.
Call me now.
Oh, I didn't even think of Miss Cleo, but yeah, it's targeted at black women. Anyway, so we went with my wife to a launch event for that, and that's why our recording got delayed.
No, she's an influencer.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And I mean an influenza.
But
anyway, our topic for the week.
Oh yeah, nothing's really happening here. We just, I don't know, had an idea for a new business, but whatever. Topic for the week, we're talking about outrage marketing.
What is outrage marketing?
I'm on the fence about. Okay, so outrage marketing, the general definition I would say is when the company does something that gets attention. It's like they do something wrong or politically incorrect or whatever on purpose to get attention, so that people are talking about them, and then that's the theory behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not totally convinced everybody that is accused of that does that, but that's the general idea. Like, for example, like the Gucci thing recently with the whole blackface thing, or whoever else did, a while ago was the H&M thing,
Burberry.
which I think definitely Burberry, and the list goes on and on. People have been violating stuff a lot. But the argument is that some people are like, oh, that's what they do to get more attention, and
Well, I wonder. So I could understand, like, so if your brand is like getting no attention at all, like if you're, let's say a Jussie Smollett, for instance, and you're just like, things aren't going well, then I could see doing something outrageous or crazy to get attention for yourself, because and the people have been doing that for a long time, obviously, but then doing it, preying on people's emotions, is where the kind of the outrage marketing part comes into play. And I can understand that. I can understand on some level why someone would do it, but it does seem insensitive to people who've actually had problems or whatever, or like those people whose emotions you're using in a negative way.
Yeah. What he did was beyond just marketing. That was a whole production.
Well,
Not a good one.
Like if we take like the Gucci thing or something like that, it was a whole production. It just wasn't the same type of, it wasn't like felonious. There was no mail fraud involved, but it is the same type of situation, kind of. But I guess what I was going to say is that I wonder if, for a lot of the bigger ones that have happened recently, like Gucci and Burberry with the Noose hoodie and all that type of stuff, I wonder, were these things done intentionally to get some juice for the brand, or were they done unintentionally, just like, oh, we kind of like this, oh my bad, we forgot about black people. But then once that happened, they were like, okay, we're going to have to milk this, and some, like one of those crisis management teams came in and
any company's going to do that. I mean, like Starbucks did that. I mean, I don't know, because I've heard the argument from people. It's like, oh, they do that on purpose. I'm not totally on board with that argument. I don't give people that credit, because I've worked with like people that were successful and all. Like, people aren't that smart. Most people aren't that smart.
So you think most of the time it's somebody
careless.
Someone's careless and let it slide, but then the marketing team came in and tried to put a spin on it after the fact, or didn't put a spin on it, just let it ride and said, okay, now that we're in the news, let's launch this new line.
I'll give you an example. I don't think anybody has accused this of that, but I could see somebody, wanting to get a think piece off and writing it. But the Endgame trailer came out today. A new one, and they had a poster, and on the poster they left Danny Guerrero. Is that how you say her name? Danny Okoye. You know what I'm talking about? From Wakanda?
The bald head chick, yeah.
Yeah, they left her name off the poster.
Okay.
And people were like up in arms about it, like, why did she get left off or whatever? They fixed it before the end of the day, so it wasn't long enough for people to get their think pieces finished on why the only black woman in the movie got left, But that would be an example of somebody where I'm like, man, that was some designer.
Yeah, it was just an accident. Up.
Yeah, it was an accident, but I mean, it's an easy accident to have, but I can also see how somebody would try to make it a thing, because when you look for something, you're going to see it there. Well, but that's a little bit different than the whole Gucci thing and all that. I think a lot of that stuff is just people are just careless.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, the majority of their market is not black people, so they may not necessarily be that they were thinking in a racist term, but it's just like, oh, this would be an interesting design. Would our core audience buy it? Yep. Okay, we're good to go. Oh crap, we forgot about that small percentage of rich black people that may buy our stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a thing where it's like, well, you should probably just put a black person on your team that can catch that kind of thing. Not so much like I think they were trying to maliciously throw a jab at. Well, I don't see how. I mean, because I guess the outrage marketing thing, where I would like to see an example of a successful case for that.
I don't think you will ever find one, because someone would have to admit that they did it on purpose. But I think,
well, just a company that
came up,
had some kind of mishap and came up after the fact.
I would have to think about that. I'm sure there's some that have come up at some level, but I don't think there's any that's like they went from.
I mean, you could depending on like
0 to
how you. I mean, I don't know where most of our listeners sit, but you could say that Nike did it.
How did they start out with the outrage? Well, with the whole thing with Zion, I mean, that's not an outrage thing, but
no, I'm talking about Kaepernick.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that's what I was going to talk about too. That's one thing I really wanted to talk about, was like the whole aligning yourself thing, because especially with the more divided nature of the country now. I mean, I think it was divided before, but it's more, the divides are more obvious. You're aligned with the whole Trump agenda, or you're not, or like the whole Me Too movement, or you're not, or the whole I'm cool with LGBT, or you're not. And so I've seen a lot of companies kind of align themselves one way or another. Well, you'll see more companies align with the I'm cool with gay people, I don't mind immigrants, that side of the thing, because obviously that's, especially big companies, it would be disastrous for you to align any other way, I would think.
Yeah.
But you do hear about some companies that align the other way, like for instance, like Chick-fil-A, where they said, we're not cool with gays, but our chicken is amazing. So what you gonna do?
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think those are necessarily intentionally, well, I don't know, they might be intentional stances, like we really do believe in this, but I think there's also something behind it, because it's like there are definitely companies that don't even address those topics. There are companies that be
I don't think they believe they would get a boost.
That's what I'm saying. I think some of those companies may, because I remember last year, not this past year, but like 17, um, or that no, that would have been 18, but during the Super Bowl anyway, there was a commercial that Google put out, I believe, and it was just like more about diversity. It really didn't say anything about their products or services, but it was more like, here's our brand and here's where we stand. And I thought that was powerful. Whereas you'll see some brands that wholly ignore those topics. Like, I can't think of one right off the top of my head, but like, for instance, like a Best Buy or something like that. They're just like, yeah, we got TVs for cheap. You want some?
Watch all the protests and all whatever you want. But we got TVs.
I mean, Papa John. I mean, obviously the owner's racist, but like Papa John's, like, we got pizza.
Gillette, they with their ad that people were mad at.
I don't think I saw that one.
You know what I'm talking about? The razor one. Basically, they were telling men to be decent, and people got mad about it.
Okay, I heard about that one. I didn't see it.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. I didn't think it was that big a deal, but some people just.
Weren't they like beard shaming though?
Beard shaming? No.
Okay, well, I clearly didn't see the ad, so never mind.
It was just basically, it was like, there's examples of men like telling other men not to street harass and stuff like that, or it's things like that.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see anything wrong with it, but of course that means there's going to be somebody that wants to find a reason to have a problem with it, but.
Well, that's the thing.
Snowflakes.
I think that I think there is such a thing as outrage marketing, like we talked about, and there are some people that do it. But on the other hand, there's people that are looking for something to be outraged about. So it kind of doesn't matter what you do in terms of your marketing.
Yeah.
Especially if you have any people involved in the process, visible people, someone's going to be outraged. Like, there were only 2 white guys in that commercial. This is offensive.
Yeah, I mean, because, like, I don't know, like, for instance, like, Will Smith is supposed to play Venus and Serena's dad, and there's people like, hey, well, I don't know. People look for a reason to be mad nowadays. I'm not saying that everything they say is completely invalid, but I don't think... I don't know. I'm not ready to die on every hill that I see come across my Twitter timeline. Like, I don't think it's necessary. I don't think... It's not that I don't believe that there's bad people in the world and there are bigger things at play and all that. It's just that I think it's not very imaginative to apply that excuse to everything. Yeah. It kind of keeps you from looking further.
Yeah.
If you just look at it's an easy scapegoat. It's like, oh no, it's that. Mm-hmm. I don't even want to think, because it sounds like very deep, like, because there's so much emotion and energy behind that. Though it's like, yeah, no, you're right. You're woke, man, bro. You're woke. That's what people say.
You're woke, bro.
Did I just ruin that word? That's probably good. People will probably thank me. You're woke, bro. No, because it sounds heavy. It's like, yeah, man, the man. Because it's easy for people to get behind that. It's like, yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, that's what happened. Versus like actually like, oh no, but what really happened? Like, that takes a little bit more time, and I think a lot of people either they don't want to take the time to do that, or they just feel, I don't know, they've seen an example of it in another way so many times that that's just the way they view the world. Yeah. But I do think it does a disservice to actually solving the problem, because all it is like, hey, look, this is what the problem is for everything.
So one size,
it doesn't actually present any solutions, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think in this day and age, I think just marketers and stuff like that have just learned to, because the apology for messing up and doing something crazy it's cool, but I think in some cases it seems like you actually can potentially get more traction out of just not apologizing. Because, well, like if it's something that people are going to
goes away
see anyway, like people are going to go see in game anyway. So we're going to get this money. This just brings a little more attention to us. People are going to go see the Venus and Serena movie. So it's just like, we're just going to weather the storm and we're going to thug it out. And
it's just like, we have a little bit of information, so let's blow it up. But then it's going to pass over, and then like, we probably won't be thinking about it, especially if he like does a really good job. And just like, oh well, all right, well, I guess. But I mean, it's just, I don't know. I mean, because I can't fault people for feeling a certain way, but I just don't feel like it's. I don't think we need to fight every battle because it distracts from like real problems in the
Mm.
world. And I think you'll get closer to a solution to some of these sensitive companies and different things that are going on if you go a little bit deeper than just saying they did it on purpose. Because like I was saying, I haven't seen a company that did that successfully. Because Nike, that's one thing. That's a little more aligning. That's not
Yeah.
outrage. I haven't seen a company that did that successfully that did something so egregious. I mean, yeah, of course, companies, they do something to like, oh, there's branding that's like GoDaddy or whatever back in the day for making like their ads like really sexual and
Mm.
stuff like that. But that's different. I really feel like it's different. I haven't seen an example of a company actually really coming up and making more money. I have to see some numbers. It's like, okay, is Burberry actually making more money now? Is Gucci actually making more money now because it did this? Because they got negative attention. Is that really
I
true?
imagine they get. I mean, they got some attention, but I don't think they're necessarily going to get more money per se because,
No, I don't think so.
like, I don't own anything Burberry. I don't own anything Gucci, and well,
Well,
I
and
had some
that's the
glasses,
other problem
but
with that.
I'm not going to change
That's the
that
other.
now because it's like,
Yeah.
okay, you did something stupid. I'm not surprised. I know there's probably racism in the background of most of these big, long established companies.
Yeah.
So what? Okay, I wasn't supporting you anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's my thing. It was like that's why people are like, "Oh, so we back on Gucci already?" It's like, no, just most people couldn't relate. It's like I wasn't buying it anyway. That's why that boycott didn't work because I
Yeah, if
can't
I get
afford it
some
anyway.
Gucci,
So
it's
what are
gonna
you
be
talking
in a
about?
knockout joint.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't. I don't. I've never looked at something Gucci was like, I
Must
want that
cop.
so badly that I'm gonna pay extra
You
money
don't want a
for it.
Gucci
Nah,
belt to wear with like your Wrangler jeans.
you're right. It would be cute. No, I don't know. I'm really proud of my what is it? What kind of belt do I have? It's a mission belt.
I think.
You heard of
Nope.
them before? They're on Shark Tank, but basically it's one of those ratcheting
Oh, okay.
belts.
There's several companies that
It
make
doesn't have any
those.
hoses. Yeah, but they were on
Mm.
Shark Tank. But yeah, no, I like their belts. I have two of their belts, and that's the belt I wear. So,
But so about the outrage marketing thing, the other thing I was going to say is that like I think if you were to do it and somehow it was successful, it got you attention and some income or whatever from whatever group you were trying to target, that's great. But I feel like you can't do it more than once before it becomes questionable. Like, why you keep doing that?
yeah,
Because then it's like, all right, you just don't know, or you're
I just
obviously
don't
doing
care.
this. You're doing
Yeah,
this for a reason. Like it becomes obvious, so you can't keep doing it.
yeah, it's only gonna work once. I mean, okay, so if there was a company that did it and then they like somehow bodied the like apology,
Hmm.
but I haven't seen that. And then that worked for them, then I'd be like, oh, okay, no, I see what's going on with outrage marketing. I see, yeah, no, that's smart. But I haven't seen somebody be able to do that successfully.
Yeah, if
Maybe
you're
they
gonna
made
do it, you can't double down and be like, I'm the gay Tupac. You're just like, okay, stop. You've gone too
yeah,
far.
it hasn't worked successfully somewhere for somebody. I have not seen that. Or if it did, and I'm just unaware of it,
Hmm.
then good job for whoever did that. But I have not seen that. It's like, oh wow, they pulled that off. This happened. They turned that around, and this is all part of their genius plan. I haven't seen that.
I mean, because
I
it's got
mean,
to be a long-term plan. I would think it's got to be a long-term plan. Because I mean, if you think about it, there's a lot of companies that are around today that have done a whole lot of
yeah,
egregious stuff back in the day,
of
or
course,
whatever,
yeah,
in terms of racism and everything. But they're just like, we're not going anywhere, and so they
yeah.
just
Like, what are you
waited
gonna
till
do
the
about it?
news went away, waited till the people died, and they forgot about it, and then just kept on.
Yeah, I mean, especially been around that long. It's like, who wasn't?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do about it now? Nothing. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, hey, if somebody can figure out a way to do it. I mean, people try to go viral and stuff like that, but that's different too. That's different. I feel like aligning with somebody is different. Trying to go viral is different. For something that is outrageous, that's different.
Well,
But
it's
I haven't seen the outrage win.
the going viral and all that stuff. It's all understandable, I guess, but it's just, I guess, doing it in a cheap way or doing it in a questionable way. Because like if you're just like, we just want to go viral, I don't care what all right, well, put the N word on something, or like put a noose on it, do something crazy like that. That seems like that's super thirsty, and that's like the girl that's like jumping up in your face, like, hey, I like you, I want to talk to you. It's like, no, chill, you're too thirsty. Go away.
Well, okay, so Nas, when he put out that album, remember, and they had made him remove the title. Yep. Yeah, would that count?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, but so I listened to it several times. It's a good album, in my opinion. And he was talking about a lot of topics that kind of aligned with it. But I could see why I don't think he did it for outrage. I think he did it. Yeah. It was just a marketing thing. Because that's the thing. Like, a lot of this is it's hard to tell what was your goal. Were you just trying to be hot, or were you doing this to get people mad and therefore be hot? You know, it's hard to determine what their original goal was.
Because that was a little different. It was more like there's another word for it, but I don't think it's outrage.
No, because I don't think too many people were outraged at it.
People were more so like, oh, why would you do that? It was more so like I can't think of the name of it, but there's like a type of art that I've seen that's like that, but it's very like in your face kind of thing or whatever. But I wouldn't. Because I think outrage is just a more so like a, oops, we made a mistake, you know.
Yeah. Oh, who dropped this over here? Let me bend over and pick it up.
Like, oops. I said nigga when I stood up. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Where did all... But I haven't seen that work for anybody. So I mean, you know, if you have a company and you have a plan, you know, I'd like to see if you can actually pull that off.
Yep. I think if it were to even be somewhat successful, it would only work for a larger company, I believe. But I mean, with the alignment thing, you definitely see smaller companies do that. Because I've definitely seen, like, when I'm in the country part of Maryland, before like the election, I remember driving around in the country part of Maryland, and certain businesses would actually have like MAGA signs and stuff in front of that, like in their business. It's just like a flag to let you know, like, here's where we stand. And I'm sure that for some people that turns away some customers, and then the other hand, it may draw in some customers. So,
but that's alignment again.
Yeah. And I think that, if from a marketing perspective, that is probably a lot safer and less risky. Because especially if you know who your core audience is and how they feel, then just align with them. Yeah. Because a lot of companies do that now, I think. Especially a lot of, like, you'll see stuff on Instagram where people post a lot of like lifestyle photos and stuff like that, and they're trying to align with the lifestyle of the audience so that they feel more comfortable and all that type of stuff, which makes sense. Yeah. And so I think that's a way safer than to outrage. I think if you're doing the outrage thing, the outrage you're going for is not your customers. You want people that are not your customers to be outraged, and you want your customers to be like, oh, that's cool that y'all put a noose on that jacket. I don't like them black people anyway.
Well, okay, so I did think of some examples of where that could work, and probably has worked, and that's probably in entertainment. Mm-hmm. People who do get, supported for doing something. Well, okay, not like R. Kelly or something like that. Like, okay, there was a girl that like fake tattooed a guy's face on her cheek, and she got a bunch of attention, and she was just trying to put music out. But she didn't do it, but everybody came and looked at her page. So you see that. Or you see people that on Instagram or on YouTube or something like that, they do something outrageous.
Yeah, clickbait.
People come to their page. Yeah, it's clickbait, and they come and it's like, oh, what's this, trash or whatever. And they hate watch it, and you still get attention. So in that way, it can work.
Yeah, but only like if you are trying to build your following or get some short-term attention or something. If you're actually a business and you're trying to sell products or services, I don't think it's going to work. But like, it might get you some followers. Because I've heard with like
YouTube or something like that, you'll get money. Yeah. For people watching. Doesn't really matter what they're watching, so that could turn into something. But yeah, I mean, but that's the only way I see that working.
Yeah, that would definitely work. But I think
a brick and mortar or sell a product, I mean, unless it's something stupid where people's like, I'm gonna go buy some Nike so I can burn them or something stupid like that. But
yeah, but that's you don't want that type of attention. I think in an entertainment and like social media world, it definitely works, but I don't think it works for the long term, because there's definitely some people who are like saying crazy stuff on Twitter or whatever, or saying interesting stuff on Twitter for a while, and I was like, I'll follow this person, and then they fell off or they ran out of crazy stuff to say, and then it was like, all right, why do I follow this person again? I've done it on Instagram too, where someone was like posting something I was interested in, and then maybe they sold the car that I liked that they had, or like, I don't know, something happened, and it was like, all right, unfollow.
Yeah, but that is still like I don't know. I still feel like that's a little different than like fake accidentally doing something.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, even
it wasn't a a whole Smollett.
Well, I mean, I know there's also like people, like when people do something crazy, a lot of people will come to their page and like, cause I've heard of like some woman did something. She worked for BET and she was tweeting about something how Nicki Minaj didn't win an award, but Cardi did or something like that. Oh
yeah.
And so Nicki sent the Barbies on her, and so she got a lot of attention because of that. Negative attention, of course. But like next week when Nicki drops a new freestyle or something, no one's gonna care. Like people are gonna unfollow her and leave her alone. I mean, some of the trolls might stay with it, but it's not gonna be lasting.
Yeah, it's just gonna go away after a while. Yeah. Yeah.
So.
In conclusion,
when you see us start posting some outrageous stuff on Instagram or Twitter, you know why.
We're gonna do an experiment.
We're doing some experimental outrage marketing, just to see what would happen. Yeah, I think it's an interesting thing. Well, so last question, in terms of like design work, have you ever done a design with the purpose of like trying to attract negative attention?
No, I don't think so. No.
So there's been a few times when I've done a design, like I was working with a churchy type client, and I forget what type of event they wanted to promote, but I basically gave them a couple different drafts of a design, and I did one that was kind of aligned with what they wanted, very safe and light color, like all safe and clean and appealing to like a more church going audience, I guess you would say. And then I did a different one that was more appealing to the non-church going people, not necessarily like had like something crazy on it, but it was just
the heathens.
It wasn't so church centric.
Safe.
I don't remember anything specific that I did. I don't want to like make something up, but it wasn't so clean and crisp and all that type of stuff. It was just more street looking design. And I did it on purpose just so that the person who I was showing it to would see. And I told them like, look, this one design that looks churchy is like preaching to the choir. This other design will appeal to the people that you want to come and join your church, but the people in the church might see this and not like it, or be not necessarily offended, but they might not be comfortable with that particular design. And they chose the churchy looking one, of course, and so the results are what they were. But I think that's another situation where like if you're trying to reach out to a new customer segment, it's like that segmentation conversation we've had before.
Yeah. And that, and that's even, I mean, I guess I've done some stuff that was a little, or whatever, I guess, but like not, I just haven't done
nothing like blatantly
offend some
people.
Yeah. All my mistakes are mistakes.
Well, that's been another episode of the I See Pixels podcast. We want to thank everyone for tuning in. Be sure to follow us on social media. Check out our shop. It's warming up outside. And like always, we have some warm weather clothes out there. So definitely check out our shop. Alienmuffin.threadless.com. Anything else we need to add? That sounds like a no. All right, we'll catch y'all again consistently on schedule.